Again, this is the Mr. Fly here. Hope you're well. Well, it's 8 o'clock. It's Wednesday, the 14th of March, and time for another one of these live stream things. Always a little bit nerve-wracking when these kick off because you never quite know whether they're going to work or not. Now, last time I did one of these, which I rather cleverly scheduled for Valentine's Day, I had a bit of technical issues towards the end, so I'm hoping that's not going to happen this time. This time I've got a few extra screens open, so I can keep a little eye on what the stream health is doing. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to stay here the whole time. Maybe just to give me a little to calm my nerves and let me know that you can actually see and hear me. Perhaps you can just put a little comment, somebody in the live chat, to say that you can see and hear me okay. That would be brilliant. I can see we've already got a few people coming in on the live chat, so definitely something's going out, but whether you can see and hear me, I don't know. Okie dokie. Brilliant. Right, so loads of stuff to go through tonight in the next half an hour or so, or however long it takes. What I'd like to do, if I can, is try and focus on some of the subjects that I've talked about on the channel over the last month since I last spoke to you. So lots of stuff that we could talk about this month, not least falling off your bike, and in particular how maybe you can avoid it. I don't know if you saw the video I did about the Zero DSR and the fact that that's the electric bike and the fact that I came off the thing. So we could talk a bit about falling off your bike, particularly this time of year. It's something that I guess is quite common. Electric bikes generally is another thing we could talk about. Off-roading on the GS. I don't know if you saw the video I did in Spain with Toro Adventure, the last one I did of the series of that Spain tour, where I actually got to go off-road on the big GS. First time I've ever done that. I've had my GS for, what, over 4 years now. Because it cost me a lot of money, daren't go off-road in this country, but I did do that in Spain. It was great fun. I think it's improved my road riding generally. Just wondered what your view was on that. So we can talk a bit about off-roading on big adventure bikes. That's another thing. And all sorts of other stuff as well. Before we get into that though, I've got a few parish notices I want to go through. Before I do that though, let me just check and see what's happening. It says here the stream health is good. It looks like we've got a few people on here, all receiving well in Silly Suffolk. Excellent. In fact, let me put my glasses on, just see who we've got on here. Oh god, that doesn't help either. Matt Biker, hello. Hello Michael Hogan, brilliant. No worries, Flat Cap. Excellent, we've got loads of people coming on to the live stream. That's fantastic news. Brilliant, thank you for that. Alright, okay, so a few parish notices before we get into the questions then. And what I'm going to do, again, like I did last time, I've got a few questions that I didn't manage to get round to last time that I'm going to answer on this live stream, just to get the ball rolling, and then I'll come to any new stuff that comes up on the live chat. By the way, one of the parish notices that I was going to mention is that YouTube have changed the way that these things work a little bit. I understand. I've not yet seen this for myself. It only happened in the last week or so. But apparently, when you watch the recording of this now, you will also get to see the live chat, which is amazing. Oh, hello, somebody's throwing money at me. Ian, thank you very much, sir. Thank you, that's very kind of you. Brilliant. So yeah, when you watch the recorded version of this, you will actually see the live chat alongside the video, I understand now, which is brilliant. So what I'm not going to do is try and put that little thing up the side of the screen like I did before that failed last time, so you can see the live chat. You should actually see that as it happens on the recorded version. So that's great. That's a great new feature that YouTube have added, so that's brilliant. Stops me having to do that little workaround that I did before. Oh, hello from Sussex. Hello from Darlington, Scotland. Excellent, this is great stuff. By the way, it would be really good as well, another great thing which would be very interesting for me, I obviously do these at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday to kind of suit my main audience, which is in the UK and Europe. But I'd love to hear whereabouts you're watching from. Hi from South Africa, from Johan, that's amazing. If you could just let me know whereabouts you're watching from in the world, or indeed in this country. Oxford as well, brilliant. Isle of Man, fantastic. Gosh, it just blows my mind that a fella sitting here in his study in the home counties, having spent about 100 quid on a little camera and this mic, can suddenly broadcast the world. It's absolutely amazing. I'm just going to move some stuff around on my screen because it's all getting a bit confusing. Brilliant. Wow, these live chats absolutely zip by. Oh, thank you, Riding Camp all day. Very kind of you. Thank you. You can keep throwing money at me all day long. That's brilliant. Excellent. So back to those parish notices I was talking about. So yeah, so well done YouTube on that, on adding that little feature. We'll see on the replay version whether that actually works or not. The other thing I wanted to mention was, I already mentioned that I came off the Zero DSR, the electric bike that I had on long-term loan, and I was absolutely gutted about that. I put a little video up explaining the circumstances of the accident, and I mainly did that because I wanted to just explain to you why you weren't seeing the long-term review of that bike, because I had it for a few weeks. I was really looking forward to doing an in-depth review of what it's like to live with that bike. You know, with its electric bikes, there's all sorts of things to consider, aren't there? What's the charging time like? What's the range like? You know, and just day-to-day living with the bike, and I was looking forward to getting into that, and I think a lot of you were too, judging by the views that I had on the previous videos. So I was gutted that I came off it most of all I was gutted because I damaged the bike and it wasn't my bike, and then gutted I couldn't finish that series. So the great news is that the guys at Zero in the UK very kindly have come back to me, and they've been extremely nice to me about the whole affair. They're getting the bike fixed, and luckily all the parts for the bike are in stock and available. It'll be fixed within a matter of about a week, I think. They're going to get the bike back to me, and I'm going to continue doing the review that I was doing. So big thumbs up to Zero. Fantastic service from them to have them do that for me. So we're really looking forward to getting back onto the Zero again. So do stay tuned if you're interested in an electric bike. There will be more reviews coming on that again soon. So once again, thanks to those guys for doing that. Sorry I bent your bike. The other thing, on a similar vein, I did a video about installing a heated seat on my GS a couple of days ago. You may have seen that one as well. Again, it was just I was fitting the heated seat, so I thought I'd make a video about it. I didn't expect it to be particularly popular. Let me just have a swig of water. But my goodness me, it generated so many comments and so much feedback. It was unbelievable. In the main, most people said the same thing actually, that they thought the seat looked good, but it was one, very expensive, and which I agree, and two, that it came with kind of cheap connectors and a cheap button to switch it on, and I agree with that as well. So just to let you know, I got back to the supplier of the heated seat, which was Norman Nippies, or Nippy Normans, is it? Yeah, it's Nippy Normans, I always get that round the wrong way. And they contacted Wunderlich on my behalf and actually shipped me a new switch, which I have now fitted. And if the technology works, I've got a picture of it here somewhere. I'll have to get my glasses on again. Here we go, it's just there. So I've got this new switch fitted on the bike now. I put it, as you can see, towards the front of the bike, so it's out the way of all the crud, which was another comment that people usefully made. So where it is, it's protected by the engine, as you can see. It's still held on with cable ties, but it doesn't slip around the frame anymore because it's there in a rigid spot, and also of course it's nice and warm there, so it keeps nice and dry. I've also properly heat shrinked it on, so hopefully it's going to be a good a good electrical connection. So really pleased about that. So that one's been fixed very nicely by Wunderlich and Nippy Norman. So I will be posting another review, or a video rather, reviewing that seat in use soon. So again, if you're interested in heated seats on your BMW or any other bike, check that out soon. So that one's another one that's been resolved very nicely. And by the way, on the little connector, which I think was called a Scotch connector, I actually said in the video that I posted about installing it, I thought it's quite a good little connector, a little red plastic thing, which turns out was on Dragon's Den. Anyway, a lot of people said to me actually they're not as good as they look, and they're open to corrosion. So another little job I'm definitely going to do is take that off and just solder a permanent connection in there and properly heat shrink it again. But don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I'm quite good at soldering, so that's not an issue for me. So I'm going to do that, and that should be great. Oh, more money being thrown at me. Thank you very much, Astral Adventurer. Thank you very much. Oh, towards the insurance increased premiums. Thank you very much. We'll talk a bit about actually insurance premiums on the electric bike in a minute, because that's a question that came up. Okay, so that was the heated seat. Another thing that came up, actually, I just posted a little tweet a couple of days ago. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter or Facebook, but it'd be great if you want to do that, because I post little things on there that don't necessarily make it to the channel. And one of the things I posted last weekend, I think it was Saturday night, was the fact that I picked up a screw in my tyre. Really annoying, because these are relatively new tyres on my GS. They're the Avon Spirit STs that I fitted about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. They're brand new tyres this year, not a lot of wear on there. Picked up a screw on the M25, and actually this demonstrated to me how good electronics on these BMWs are, because there's no way I would have known that I had a puncture other than I suddenly got a little red triangle flashing very quickly on the dashboard at me. Never seen that before, because I wouldn't have done, and also it showed me a little picture of a tyre. So went to the all the main detail screen that you get when you buy the nav5 or nav6 on the BMW, and it showed me that actually my rear tyre was gradually deflating. It showed me that the pressure was going down. So anyway, I was able to work out that it was a slow puncture. I managed to get myself to a services where I could put some more air in the tyre and basically get home. But basically that tyre's trashed, and the reason why I mention it is a number of people asked me, am I going to do a video on plugging that tyre, which did cross my mind, I must admit. But actually the screw is still in there. It's a slow puncture. It stays pumped up for a good hour because I've tested it. So what I'm going to do, rather than risk plugging it and maybe getting a dodgy repair, I'm going to actually take the bike, pump the tyre up, take the bike to Nigel, my man at Moto Tune up in Chesham, and he's going to put some brand new tyres on the bike for me next Monday. I'm going to get that done. So there won't be a video on puncture repair. If you do want a video on puncture repair, then I recommend you go and look at Del Boy's Garage, Moonfleet 41. He's got an excellent video on exactly that. I only would have followed his lead on that. In fact, I think it might even be his most viewed video. Go and check that out if you need to know how to plug a puncture on a bike. Okay, so that was that one. Another thing, or let me just check some of these messages. Don't want to ignore these that are flashing by. Hi Dan Rockle, yes, Nigel. That's the guy at MotoTune. What have we got coming in here? He's not telling you his real name. Okay, fine. That's great info. That's from Beans. Don't know what you're referring to there, Beans, and I'll probably miss your answer. Trying to watch his comments and speak and look at the camera at the same time, almost impossible on these live streams, but great fun trying. I will watch the replay, and if you do respond, then I'll read your answer then. All right, so I will get the end. We'll get to the end in a minute. TMF looks like a Gary or a Gareth. Good try, very close indeed. Somebody watching from Derry, brilliant. Somebody from Portsmouth, brilliant. What else have we got? Anyone else telling me whereabouts they are? What tyres do you use on the GS? Well, actually, the tyres that have just gone kaput. As I say, well, they haven't gone kaput, they've got loads of wear left in them. In fact, they were doing really well with the Avon Spirit STs, brand new tyre out last year. And I was looking forward to doing a long-term review on them because, again, I think there was no wear on the back at all, hardly, and I've done a few thousand miles on it. Normally by now they start to square off, but that one wasn't showing any signs of that. So anyway, well, this time I'm going to replace them with Pirelli Metzler Roadtech 01s, I think they are, that I'm getting. But again, I will do a video on those tyres and give you an update on how they go. Those particular tyres that I'm putting on, I think, won MCN's best sport touring tyre of the year last year, and that's kind of why I went with them. So I'll let you know how that goes. Well, by the way, can you let me know how this mic is sounding? I think when I watched the replay last time, I thought my sound was absolutely terrible, really echoey. So I've moved the mic back to the original spot. Hopefully I'm talking into the right part of it. Hopefully I sound relatively okay. I've also changed the lighting, by the way. I had some comments last time from some actual, it's incredible who watch these videos, some professional lighting engineers that said that the picture was far too warm. Well, that's partly because I'm under artificial light here in my study, but this time I have got a couple of lights set up in front of me that I've removed the warm filters on that I had before, so hopefully the colours look a little bit more natural. Next time we do one of these, it will be British summertime, so maybe it might even be light, you never know, and I can actually have the blind open, I'll have natural light on me, and all will be well. I'm going to have to keep worrying about the light. Okay, so back to these parish notices. Gosh, I haven't even got to your questions yet and it's already 15:15. Sorry about that. If you don't want me to do this stuff, then let me know in the comments. Okay, next thing, a bit of news just that affects the channel and hopefully is a positive thing for people watching, is Suzuki UK have now come on board. Really chuffed that they've got in touch with me because they've said, do I want to go on their press fleet, basically, so that I can borrow bikes long term from them. Brilliant news. In the past I've had to borrow Suzukis from the local dealer, who have been very helpful and let me borrow bikes to do short-term reviews, but you know, if you're only riding a bike for an hour or two, you have to draw your conclusions very quickly, whereas if you can borrow a bike for 2 or 3 weeks, ride the pants off it, and really understand the bike, I think you can just do a better review. So thank you very much to Suzuki UK. You'll be seeing more Suzuki reviews coming up, so if there's any particular Suzukis you like the sound of or look of, let me know and I'll try and get those lined up so I can do some long-term reviews. Stand by a second. Somebody commented how I made a lot of drama about having a swig of water last time, by the way, so sorry if it's a bit dramatic. Let me just read a few of your comments that are coming in now. What have we got? Keep going, buddy, from Mark Bailey, thank you. His name is Tony, thank you, Gary. You've let it out of the bag now. It's a Strat, somebody's saying. Yeah, oh, you look at the guitars, yeah, very good. Somebody knows the guitars, well done. The sound is bad, says Fast Frankie. Is that true? Is the sound bad? Is it, am I over-modulating? Can you let me know? Perhaps I'm talking too close to the mic. Or perhaps I'm just talking too quick. Let me know if you can't hear me very well. Somebody says it's not playing for them. That's not good. What's next for the GS? I'll come to that in a minute. What else have we got on here? Just trying to... Number one, I haven't got my glasses on. It's hard to read this. How's your arm? That's very kind of you, Alex. It's completely fixed, thank you. Complete movement in both arms. In fact, I think it was the right one. Yeah, it's good. I'm all repaired, as is that bike almost, as I said. Okay, back to some parish notices then. So I mentioned Suzuki. Next thing was, the Spain trip that I did was very well received, that I did with Toro Adventure. I kept getting the name wrong, but it's Toro Adventure I went to Spain with. They're the people I did the off-roading with, and those videos went down a storm, not least I think because the weather was so lovely and it was January and it was particularly grim here when those went out. We had all that snow, the beast from the east and all the rest of it. So that was well received, so thank you for that. And it's amazing what happens when you do these YouTube videos. Somebody sees something, who tells somebody, who does something else. So that has led to a couple more tours being lined up, which I'm very, very excited about. I'm going to be doing at the back end of the year, I'm going to be going back to the Canary Islands. I think I mentioned that already. I'm going to be going and doing a Tenerife trip this time, which is going to be fantastic, with the Canary Motorcycle Tours. So thank you to them. Looking forward to seeing those guys get the back end of the year. Slightly before that, I'm going to be going back to Spain to Toro Adventure, and we're trying to line up a Morocco trip down into the Sahara on the big GSs. That will just be amazing. So again, looking forward to that. And then the real big one, which I'm not even sure if I can even announce yet, because it's not fully confirmed. In fact, I'll save that one for next time. There's another trip coming up before then, in the middle of the summer, a little bit closer to home, but still not in the UK, which I am super excited about. Just amazing. So remind me, I'll tell you about that one next month, because it should be properly confirmed by then. Really looking forward to that as well. The other thing I did, I've got another picture for you. I went on the bike safe course. We've been talking about advanced training for ages and whether I was going to do any and all the rest of it, and I said that the Met Police had been in touch and they'd invite me along to a bike safe course. Did that on Saturday, that's just gone. Great luck for me, because actually it was quite a nice day. It was 14 degrees, the warmest day that it's actually been, I think, this year so far. So absolute brilliant timing. Somewhere I've got a picture, and I'm going to need my glasses on there again to manage the technology. Sorry about this. Where is it? Here we go. There we go. There's a pic of me on the bike on Saturday. It doesn't look like a very nice day, does it? But trust me, it was. Had a great time with those guys. The police, of course, aren't instructors, are they? They're not paid there to train, you know, the likes of you and me how to ride bikes. But those bike safe courses are absolutely brilliant. Give you a bit of a taster about what advanced training is all about, and those guys really know how to ride. So if you've got one of those running near you, do recommend you go and check those out. And of course, there will be a video coming out with my experience on that soon. I've recorded the video, obviously I've edited it, I've submitted it actually to the Metropolitan Police for them to have a look at it before I actually launch it, because I want to make sure that I haven't said anything that they don't like, because I don't want to be locked up, obviously. So I just got distracted there by the little sign with the little thing saying Morocco and the thumbs up. So no worries, obviously a Morocco fan. Oh, Bandit Man is saying the Alps. No, think again, nothing too obvious this one actually. What else we got here? Shall I just stop talking from Dan Rockhell? Sorry Dan if I've missed your comments. It's really hard to talk to the camera and try and read the comments, but believe me, I will watch this back on the recorded one. I'll look at your comments. If you asked questions that need answering, I'll try and answer them next time. Thanks Buddy's Insight for the well done on the 60,000 subs. That crept by I think yesterday. Amazing landmark for me personally. And also I noticed today I've just passed I think 16 million views. Absolutely incredible. Blows my mind. Those are the sort of numbers you can't really get your head around, can you? But there we go. Right, back to parish notices. Only one more. Oh yeah, it was just a quickie, just to say this week I've ridden the Monster 1200S down at Blade Ducati in Abingdon, which was fantastic. So hello to Rob if you're watching, and thank you for letting me ride that bike. I rode that because I had a load of feedback when I rode the baby Monster, the 797, which you may have seen the video in the last month, which I enjoyed, and for some reason the Monsters have sort of passed me by. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed the 797, and now you know, lots of people commented, well, if you like the 797 you should really ride the 1200. So I've done that now. Did that on Monday. Videos in the can. Stay tuned for that. And another bike that I rode this week, which has been one that's been much requested, and one that I was really looking forward to riding, was the Kawasaki Z900 RS. That's the retro one that was launched at Motorcycle Live last November, the Kawasaki. It looks absolutely beautiful. It sort of apes back to the 1970s Z1, the sort of first proper muscle bike, if you like. Sort of before my time in biking, but I understand the link back. But lovely looking bike, and it rides, I have to say, all the reviews I've read said it was a great bike to ride. Well, I've ridden it now, and I'm no expert, but my goodness me, what a great bike that is. So I'm seriously tempted by that one, I must say. So if you're interested in the Kawasaki, I should say, Z900 RS, stay tuned to the channel. Video coming up on that one soon as well. Alright, so that was it for the parish notices. I'll just have a quick look at some of the comments coming in on the live stream before I get on to some questions from last time that I didn't manage. Hang on a second. Thirsty work this, I must convert this to beer next time. Alright, let's see if I can read some of these coming up then. So somebody happy about the Z900 RS just whipped past. Somebody mentioned the 1250 GS there, sorry I missed your name as it whizzed by. Yeah, I saw this rumour as well that BMW are maybe revamping the water-cooled Boxer engine to make it more powerful, so to a 1250cc capacity, and to make it compete with the likes of big KTMs, which obviously have a lot more power than the GS. So wouldn't that be amazing if that happens? And the other big news today, I don't know if you saw it, if you've seen MCN, here we go, here's today's MCN. This picture on the front here if I can hold it up properly, the right way around even, there you go. That, which I'm sure we'll be talking about in the news review, is the new Triumph Scrambler that's been spotted. 1200cc, based on the, these are spy shots by the way, so none of this is official, but we're thinking 12, or MCN are thinking 1200cc, based on the engine out of the bobber, so loads of low down grunt and a proper scrambler. Really high spec components, Brembo brakes, Olin suspension. Looks like it's going to be an amazing bike, the sort of thing that Steve McQueen might ride, is what MCN are saying. So yeah, more to come on that on Bike News, I'm sure, but really interested to see that one as well. Okay, what else have we got here? The KTM 790 from Eco Mouse. Yeah, really want to ride the 790. Again, what I tend to do is when these bikes get released to the real press, they all go on these jollies, don't they, and ride the bikes, and they whip them around tracks, and they go to sunny climbs and have a great time on them. And one or two YouTubers are doing that now as well, and that's fine. There's a place for all that, but I'd rather kind of let the dust settle, let them do all the wheeling and racing around tracks and stuff, and then a few months down the line, hopefully I can get hold of one for a bit of a longer term and do a bit more of a longer considered review, rather than just a couple of days where you're being fed and watered big time. I do occasionally get invited to these launches actually, and I turn them down because, to me, I don't know, if you get, and this is, I know this is slightly dodgy ground because some people do go to these things obviously and it's all fine, but for me, I just think my sort of independence might be a bit compromised if I go along to those. So so I'm not going to go to the launches, but I will bring you long-term reviews when I can. And I do have a great relationship with KTM UK, I'm pleased to say, and although I haven't spoken to them about this specific bike yet, I'm pretty sure, and hope, now I've said this, that when I do speak to them, they'll be able to lend me the new 790. So in the summer, when it's nice and dry and warm, that's the sort of time when you want a bike like that. I hope to get the new 790. I love the Super Duke, an incredible bike, maybe a bit too powerful for me, and I love the 390 Duke. So the 790 being smack in the middle might be that perfect bike. I saw the 44 Teeth review earlier today on that bike, and they basically said that they preferred it on the Street Triple. Obviously I'm a big Street Triple fan, so you know, maybe that's the bike that I get next, not sure. Anyway, so we'll see. All right, what else have we got coming up on the live chat then? Cost repairs on the Zero bike so far from the Motoho. Well, I don't know is the answer to that. I don't know what the cost of repairs are, but again, to Zero's huge credit, they've said to me that what they'll do is when they give me the bike back, they'll give me a breakdown of what the costs were as well, of all the parts that they had to replace, just so we know the sorts of cost. They seem to think they can, you know, as I say, turn it around very quickly. All the stock was available in their European warehouse, which is based in the Netherlands, so fixing it, not a problem. So yeah, I will give you how much that little spill I had costs as well. Martin is saying the sound is perfect. Thank you, Martin, that's very kind of you. So I'm not over modulating then. I do get a little audio bar down here, which I can see goes red occasionally when I get a bit excited, so I probably am distorting a bit, but hopefully it sounds better than last time. I'll find out myself when I watch the review. Oh, hello from North Korea, that can't be true. Flat Cap 007, I think you're having me on there, aren't you? Wouldn't that be amazing if it wasn't? V4 Panigale test ride. Again, lucky for me, Ducati UK are talking to me too directly, which is fantastic when the manufacturers actually come and speak to you. It just shows that we're doing something right, so thanks Ducati for that. And again, I haven't spoken to them directly about the V4, but I'm hopeful that they'll lend me a V4 if I want it for long term. And not only that, but down at Blade in Abingdon, again a Ducati dealer, they have hinted that a V4 will be available to me to ride if I want to. So definitely there'll be a V4 review of some sort. I'm hoping maybe a first impressions one and then a longer term one in the summer. So yeah, the V4 will be coming along. Do a meetup with the vlogger with Spicy, says Manus K40. Number of people asked me about doing meetups. And I'm not too sure about them, mainly because I don't want to disappoint you. I'm not quite sure what's supposed to happen when you go. I'm sure at some point I will. I mean, actually, on that subject, that's a good reminder. Went to the London Motorcycle Show last month, just after the live stream last month. Met loads of people there, met loads of you, so thank you so much if you came and said hello at the London show. Brilliant show, apparently. I didn't see any bikes because I was on the Principal Insurance stand. I said I would go and help those guys out because they're my prime sponsor. And I got to the stand at sort of just before opening time, and then I was talking to people the whole time, and then the show closed. In fact, most of the time I had a little queue or a little crowd around me. It's just unbelievable. So I was really chuffed about that, and it was fantastic to meet so many of you. So thanks for coming and say hello if you did, and I apologise if I didn't manage to speak to you, because I noticed a few people were sort of loitering around with intent. I never managed to get to you because I was talking to others. So sorry if you want to say hello and I didn't get a chance to, but really enjoyed that. That was fantastic. Thank you. The only downside of it was I didn't get to see any bikes. I was desperate to see the new Speed Triple from Triumph, and it was literally 50 feet away from me in front of where I was standing, and I could see it in the distance, but I never got the chance to go and see it. I did actually escape the stand on one occasion and went and saw my friend and fellow vlogger Bruce from Teapot One. So it was great to meet you, Bruce. Blimey, what a big fella he is as well. So that was really great that I got to meet him. But that was the only time I got off the stand, and I was literally with him for like 5 minutes, and then he came and saw me a bit later as well. So yeah, the London Motorcycle Show was brilliant. Look forward to getting to some other shows maybe in the future. Okay, anything else? Ian, the manufacturers know you're a good guy. That's very kind of you to say so, Ian. You're my #1 fan. He's a top guy, Dan Rockwell says. I assume you're referring to Bruce there. I agree. What else have we got? Beans, brilliant, way to go, mate. Thank you, Beans. Always enjoy your enthusiastic support. Gutted that I missed you in Seville the other day. I'm sure, well, I don't know, maybe Richie Vida told you the story there. But yeah, that would have been great. Would have been nice to see you. What else have we got? Dual vlog with Bruce. Yeah, lots of beard. Yeah, I don't really do beard, but Bruce has got enough for both of us. And yeah, as if you've watched Teapot One's videos and some others as well, people like Lamb Chops Rides, we have got plans to meet up and do some dual videos together. We're basically waiting for the warmer weather and just syncing up diaries. It's quite tricky when people have got full-time jobs as well as doing this, and we all live, you know, we're not that close to each other, although it's within reasonable distance. It's quite hard to do those sort of things, but we will definitely do something like that. And also there are some things coming later in the year that I can't talk about yet, where you'll definitely get a chance to meet vloggers for real if you want to, including myself. So stay tuned for more on that as we get towards November. That's the only hint I'll give you. Okay, so just let's just crack on with a couple of these questions then. How are we doing for time? Goodness me, it's nearly 1:30 already, and I haven't even got to the questions yet. Let me just check the old lot of the stream health. It's saying I've got amber. It said last time, it went a bit red last time and we lost connection, so if it disappears soon, I apologise, but let's crack on and get through some questions. Right, and I'll come back to the live stream stuff again in a sec. Okie dokie, so these were some questions that came up on the last live stream that I didn't get a chance to answer. Buddy's Insight, what tours are coming up? So actually I've already mentioned these a little bit, but as well as the Morocco tour that I mentioned and the other Canary tour and then the other brilliant tour that I haven't told you what it is yet, but I will do next time. I've got some others coming up in the UK. In particular, I want to go back to Scotland and do a Western Isles tour. I did that North Coast 500, which it seems the world and his wife have done, but for good reason. It's a brilliant ride. That went down really well, and it just taught me that actually that part of Scotland there, that top left corner, is so beautiful. It's well worth another visit. So I'm going to get up there and do the Western Isles. That's probably the next tour that I'm going to do in a few weeks time. Looking forward to that. Got to plan that, get my head around it properly, but that's #1. Then another one that I'm thinking of doing, nothing planned yet, but I've got some ideas on it. It's basically like a UK sofa surfing tour. The problem with doing the tour videos is they're expensive. You know, staying in hotels and stuff and all that. It you know, all adds up and it gets quite expensive. So what I thought I might do is do a little tour of the UK, go around some of the favourite biking spots. So places like the Peak District, maybe Yorkshire, Lake District, Wales, places like that, and actually pop in on friends of mine that happen to live in those parts of the country. They don't know I'm doing it yet, which is why I say it's nothing planned. But my plan is to sort of go north, head around the country, stay on people's settees for the night where it doesn't cost me anything more than maybe a beer or a curry or something, and then move on and make a little video about that. So maybe do that for a few days. I think that would be quite fun. And then also I want to do a series of kind of day trips as well. I've mentioned this before, one of the downsides of doing the YouTube game, particularly if you do bike reviews as well as I do, you don't get to ride your own bikes that much. And you know, I've got some lovely motorcycles in the garage, I'm very lucky, and they are the bikes that I want to own, and they're also the bikes I want to ride. So I'm going to do some longer rides on them, in particular the Panigale that I did a 2-year ownership review this month. You may have seen that, and I think I'd only done something in a year of having that bike. I'd only done 700 miles or something, which for a bike that's that beautiful is just a crime. I need to ride that more. So I thought let's get out there and do some at least day trips on that, longer rides, you know, a couple of 100 miles, and just see how I get on, you know, in that position on that bike. sports bikes, they're not great for long journeys, are they? But I'm going to test that theory out, and in the summer definitely ride the Panigale more on some day trips. Also, I've still got this little Sinis Scrambler. Some people have asked me this month how I'm getting on with that. You may have seen my initial review I did on the Sinis Scrambler. Great little 125cc bike made in China. And the reason why I've got that is because when I had a Chinese 125 prior to that for just a short term, for a couple of weeks, a lot of people said those Chinese bikes, they're all very well, they're all very cheap and all, and you may say it's good, but would it get through a British winter? Well, I put that challenge to Sinis, and they lent me the Sinis Scrambler and said keep it through the winter and see how you get on. So we're nearly through winter. I've ridden that Sinis in all sorts of weathers, including the snow. I've been building videos as I go. I will be doing a long-term review on that one soon. So I'd also like to do some longer trips on the little Sinis Scrambler as well, just to see how that copes on longer journeys. And similarly, I'm also borrowing at the moment from Lex Moto a scooter. It's called the Valletta. It's one of those classic looking scooters in the Italian style, sort of Lambretta Vespa style. I haven't ridden that much yet. I've had it for a few weeks and I've just not had the chance to ride it as much as I'd like to because of the beast from the east and all the rest of it. And also I popped on and had a little cheeky skiing holiday last week. You didn't notice I'd gone, had you? It's clever, ain't it? So I need to ride that some more, and I'd like to do some longer journeys on that, understand what the fuel economy is like on that as well. I'm really getting into scooters actually these days, I have to say, so looking forward to riding that some more as well. So that was a long answer, buddies, inside. So those are some of the tours that are coming up, and thanks for your question and thanks for watching. I know you've been around for ages, one of my long-termers. Okay, let's just have a quick look at the live stuff. Hello Gary Campbell. Round Loch Ness, highly recommended. Yeah, good point. Went to Loch Ness last year actually, but in the car. It would be nice to go around on the bike. What else have we got? Mark Bailey, more than welcome here, buddy. Where are you, Mark? Where are you referring to? Is that a settee you're offering me? That's great. What else have we got? The Scottish Bike Show in April now. Yeah, of course, that one got moved, didn't it? I don't think I've got an invite to the Scottish Bike Show in any shape or form. And it's a fair old trek up there from down here. But yeah, I would like to go to that one at some point if I can. What else have we got? Cheapest place to buy ACF 50, even if I buy it in bulk. Well, good question. ACF 50 is not cheap, unfortunately. It's expensive pretty much wherever you go, and the price pretty much stays the same. I actually just buy mine from Amazon in bulk. If you look below my ACF 50 videos, I'll put a link there. It is an affiliate link, so if you click on my link, it takes you to Amazon. I'll get a little kickback from that, so you'll be supporting the channel. But I don't know where you can get it any cheaper, I'm afraid. Maybe try an aircraft supplies shop, might be worth trying. But if you want to help out the channel, go to the Amazon link, that'll help me out. Mark Bailey's in West Sussex, oh thank you. North Wales, pop up for a brew, thank you very much. Weddy, is that? Interesting. I'm not very good with Welsh, as you've noticed. Yeah, North Wales will definitely be on that tour, so I'll be up there. Maybe I will pop in for a brew. Would you consider the Harley Street Rod, says Rod. I haven't ridden a Harley yet. That's definitely on the cards for this year. I've mentioned it before, definitely coming. You can always fly to Scotland, Ian says. Yeah, thank you, I could do. I assume you mean in a light aircraft that I'm piloting. That would make a good video, wouldn't it? In fact, one of the videos I did think about doing was maybe asking one of my fellow vloggers if you want to do one of those Top Gear style plane versus car type things, but we'll do plane versus bike, and we'll start off at the airfield. I'll jump in the plane and fly somewhere, and the other vlogger, whoever that may be, rides somewhere, and we see who gets there first. I suspect the bike would win depending on the distance. Sorry, the plane would win depending on the distance. When Top Gear did that years ago, they did it from the south of France to the UK, and surprise, surprise, the car won. And I can tell you there is absolutely no way that would happen in reality. The plane would always beat a car over that sort of distance. So that was a little idea I had. Whether it's possible to make that happen, I don't know, but it'd be quite fun, wouldn't it, to do? What else have we got coming up on here? Couldn't you fly to Scotland? Yes, I could. I do need to do that actually. Plane versus Panigale. Yeah, that would mean I'd have to lend my Panigale to somebody. Do bike versus plane. So maybe that was a good idea. Perhaps I will do that then. I'd like to try Harley one day from Beans. Yep. I'm just trying to think whether I could see you on a Harley, Beans. I'm not sure it's your style. I think you might be too big for it. Don't take that the wrong way. Too tall, I mean. Oh, Ken's there. Hi, Ken. Spare room. Well, thank you, Ken. Top man. Excellent. Ken's the guy that I did the Canary Island tour with, by the way. The let's say vertically challenged fellow, but top fella. So thank you, Ken. I forgot about you. That's excellent. That's another one in Scotland I could do. Brilliant. What else have we got? Scooter commuter. How about you lend me your plane and you can ride my bike? Well, actually, sadly, I don't have a plane anymore. I did have, but there's a long story which I won't bore you with, unless you really want to know about aeroplanes. But sadly, the aeroplane got written off, not because of a crash, but because of corrosion on the main spar, and they're not insured for that sort of thing, so we lost a lot of money. So I'm borrowing a friend's plane at the moment, so it wouldn't be my plane. Bike v plane v train. That's a good idea, Rob. Are you volunteering to do the train bit? That's not a bad idea actually. Yeah, why just do a two-way race? You could do a multi-way race, couldn't you? Gosh, imagine the editing of that one. Horrendous. What else we got? Ian says Ken's a good guy. I'm not sure how you know, but he is. You're right. Tangle was in Missenden today. Excellent. Top Gear like WWF fixed. I'm not sure it's quite as fixed as that, but yeah, that particular one was. Anyway, okay, back to the previous questions again. How we do for time? Okay, let me know if you want me to stop. I can stop at any time. Next one, MCR Rider. I don't know if that stands for Manchester Rider. Will you be at Wild Bad Weekend of 2018 with Richie Vida and the gang? Good question, and you're not the only person to ask that, which is why I included it here. Unfortunately, I'm already on a tour that weekend. I think I discussed this with Richie actually, in some way, or if I didn't, maybe I dreamt it. But sadly, no, I'm not going. Well, never say never. I'm on tour that weekend. I can't quite remember where, but it may be possible I could drop in, but no promises. But at the moment, there are no plans for me to be on that Wild Bad Weekend. But never say never. You never know. If you're going, who knows? Keep your eyes peeled. But again, Richie Vida, another guy that we've been talking ages about. We must do something together. In fact, I said that I'd take him up with the plane, didn't I? Perhaps we should do the bike v plane thing, and he could be my navigator. Or maybe not. I'll just think about that. Anyway, we'll see. Next question. This is from the very snappily named, well done on the name here, A1B2C3GUY, or A1B2C3 guy. Maybe that means something that I don't get. Anyway. For your reviews, you've ridden most of the A2 big name bikes. Which one would you recommend for a new rider, and which was your favourite? So yeah, great question. A2 friendly bikes. Now in this country, in the UK, we have different classes of licences, and if you're a new rider under a certain age, I think it's 21, you can pass the test and you get, and you can then ride bikes up to a certain power. I can't remember what it is. It's something like 40 brake horsepower or something. So a number of manufacturers build bikes for this country that are classed as A2 friendly, and you sometimes hear me talk about that on my reviews. And I have ridden a number of those. And to answer the question directly, I think the best A2 bikes I've ridden, there are two that stick in my mind. One is the A2 version of the Triumph Street Scrambler. That was an amazing bike. It sounds lovely, it goes well. I rode both the A2 friendly Street Scrambler and the unrestricted Street Scrambler, and to be honest, I couldn't tell the difference. So, and I love that bike. So that was a great bike. So that's number one I would recommend. And then the other thing, the other bike I would recommend is the Duke 390. What an amazing little bike! I love that bike, which is why I'm so looking forward to riding the KTM Duke 790, because the 390 was an absolute blast. So if you are in the A2 game, you're looking for your first biggish bike, but you are restricted because of you're on an A2 license, then do recommend check out the Triumph Street Scrambler and the KTM Duke 390. Those I think were my favourites. So thanks for that question. Right, let's just see what's coming up on the live chat, and I'll come back to these pre-done questions. What have we got? Oh, they are. A1B2C3 guy is on. Cheers, mate. Excellent. Brilliant. Perhaps you could just say in the comments where that name comes from. I'm absolutely intrigued by it, and if I don't catch it here, I'll see it on the replay. What else we got? 47 brake horsepower. Thank you, Ewan. So that's obviously the A2 restriction. I knew somebody would know. It's great. Isn't the internet brilliant? That you can just put a question out there and you know somebody will have the actual answer. There's nothing you can't learn. MT07 Monty says, is that A2 friendly? I didn't realise. If it is, then yeah, that's one worth considering. And the CB500X as well. I've not ridden that, so I can't comment, Mark, on that one. But yeah, that's a possible option. Manus K40 Northwest 200. Yeah, what a great idea. I'd love to do a road race, or go and visit, not personally do one, but go and watch one. I was really looking forward to that Welsh TT, which subsequently got cancelled. Gutted about that. I thought that was a great idea. And I've never been to the Isle of Man TT either, which I must put right. It's on the bucket list. It will be done 1 year. It's just every year I forget about it, and then it comes on. I think, oh, didn't go again. But I will go 1 year. That would be a great place to fly into, actually. Perhaps that should be the race. I fly to the TT, and somebody goes there on their bike, and let's see who gets there quickest. I think I know the outcome of that one. KTM should make a 390 adventure from No Worries. Yeah, who knows? There seems to be a bit of a move, doesn't there, to infill the gaps in the ranges, and a lot of manufacturers making smaller capacity bikes now, mainly for emerging markets. But I'm thinking, BMW G310, GS, things like that. Maybe they would. That would be good. What else we got? Honda Rebel, great bike, A2 friendly from Dave. Yeah, I rode the Honda a while back. True. But the question I had was which was my favourite, and if I'm completely honest, I found the Honda Rebel, it just wasn't my sort of bike really. Nothing wrong with it at all. I'm not a big cruiser fan. Didn't really like my fire, that one, so sorry about that. I'll take the KTM or the Triumph any day over that. Isle of Man is amazing from Ian again. Gosh, you're getting many comments. What's this? Same Jeff from Hedgehog. So maybe I missed a bit of conversation there, so I don't really understand what you're talking about there. Ha ha, me too, Jeff. Oh, that's from Ahura Makali. I've got a question coming from you in a minute. Let's move on. Okay, next, Adrian Rigby. How do insurance companies categorise electric bikes as CC doesn't apply? Great question. Something I was wondering too. And some of the preparation I was doing for the long-term review of the Zero DSR was getting together the cost of ownership, and of course that includes insurance quotes. So I went to my friends at Principal Insurance, asked them how much to insure the Zero DSR in my case. They've got my profile already set up so they can give me a quote easily. They said that for me it would be £407 to insure the Zero with the £350 excess, and then but they did say it was quite hard to insure the bike. And when I asked what the reasoning for that was, I got, and this isn't an official answer, this was just from the guy in the call centre, so it, you know, take it with a pinch of salt. But he said that most of these that I sort of quote him here, most insurers aren't keen on electric bikes at the moment. From what I've heard, they think it's because they're quiet, no one will hear them coming, and he's referring to pedestrians there. So I say, not an official line, but it does seem that there is a bit of reluctance at the moment from insurance companies to give quotes on electric bikes. Although, as I say, Principal did get me one for the DSR, and it was a very reasonable £407. I say very reasonable because it's a bike which is highly performant, as I found out to my cost, and also not cheap. I think they're about 15 grand. So I thought that was quite a good price. So it is possible to insure electric bikes. It sounds like it's not done on CC. I'm not sure. There's so many factors that they use to come up with insurance premiums. Again, I've had this conversation with the insurance guys a lot, trying to work out, because people ask me, you know, is it better to have an alarm or a tracker, or, you know, what if I don't modify the bike and don't have a tail tidy and all that stuff. But there are no clear, obvious, straightforward answers to what majorly impacts your insurance premium, other than location. Is it garaged? How long you've been riding for, and how many accidents you've had? Those are four big ones, obviously. All the rest, it seems, makes just differences at the margins. Okay, so thanks, Adrian, for your question. Hopefully that sort of answered it. One more from a list, then I'll come back to the live stream. This one from Trolley Bus Driver. First bike ridden and first bike owned. I think I may have answered this in the past. I try not to answer the same questions, obviously, but just quickly, first bike I ever rode will be, I think it was a Pooch 50 cc moped, knocking around the fields in Norfolk somewhere when I was a kid, about 12 years old, and that's what made me realise I liked bikes. Before that, of course, I was on a bicycle. They didn't call them mountain bikes and stuff then, did they? BMX was just coming in. Loved all that stuff. I was always out on my bike, so I was always a two-wheel fan. And then first bike owned, that was when I was a student. It was known as the Consort machine. I think it was another Pooch, actually. And it was a moped. We picked it up at a country fete in Thames Ditton in Surrey, and three of us owned it, the three lads that all shared a flat. We called it the Consort machine because we were a consortium, and it was basically, it didn't run, but we got it running and we had a lot of fun on it. So there we go. Thanks for your question, Trolley Bus Driver. Okay, I've got a few more here, including one from Beans and one from Ahura Makali, who I see her on the call, so we'll get to those in a second. But let's just have a look again at some of the stuff coming in on the live chat, and also how's the old stream health looking. I've got an amber, so hopefully you can still see and hear me okay. Any feedback on that would be good. What have we got? Morton says, give this man a programme on BBC. Thank you very much, Morton. That's very kind of you to say so. Although it's an interesting question. A number of people have made that sort of comment in the past. It's very flattering that people say that, so thank you very much. But I do this for fun, and what I wouldn't want to do is do it as a job. If you did it as a job, then it might lose its fun. And I watched Top Gear, the new Top Gear, and those guys that now present it are doing a great job now, by the way, aren't they? They, I think, were originally car YouTubers. I didn't watch them, but I think that's where they came from. That's where they found them. So well done to them for getting that gig. But they are now, of course, fully employed by the BBC, doing full-time jobs at the BBC, and I'm sure it's much harder work than it looks. I gave up work because I thought there was more to life than putting your nose to the grindstone, and I wanted to do stuff that I enjoyed. I enjoy doing stuff like this live stream. It's just fantastic fun for me personally to do. As I said at the start, I'd happily do one of these a night if anybody would watch, because maybe I just like the sound of my own voice. But love doing this stuff, and I just want it to be fun. If it gets to the point where it's not fun, I'll stop. And I don't want to do that. But that said, never say never. If you're watching the BBC and you want a motorcycle vlogger, get in touch. You never know. All right, what else have we got coming on the live stream? Insurance is a stitch up. You can only ride one at a time. Should insure the person. I agree, Brian, with that. I did a video actually a while back called Insurance It's Pants. If you Google it, you might be able to find it, and said much to the same effect. It's a complicated one, isn't it? It'd be interesting to see what happens to the automotive insurance industry when electric and what's the word I'm looking for? Cars that drive themselves. There's a word for it. It'll come to me in a minute. Once they get on the road and suddenly there are no accidents, that'll be interesting, won't it? But it's also very complex. I've had lots of, as you can understand, what with Principal being my main sponsor, I had a lot of chats with them about this, and it's a lot more. It's not straightforward. One day I will do that interview with them where we talk in depth about how they come up with premiums, and maybe you'll see. I thought I'd lay off doing the Principal videos for a while because the last couple I've done haven't gone down so well, so I thought we'd just leave that for a bit, but I will revisit that at some point because everybody everybody needs insurance on their bike, so it does affect us all. Ian, yes, they got rid of Chris Evans. Yeah, exactly. Top Gear, so improved since that went, isn't it? It's incredible. I don't know if you watched the Grand Tour on Amazon as well. I watched them both. Obviously I'm a car fan as well as a bike fan, and it's incredible now, isn't it? Top Gear and the Grand Tour are basically the same programme, aren't they? Just with different presenters. And in fact, I don't know whether it's getting to the point that maybe I prefer Top Gear. I think, the guy from Friends, whose name Matt LeBlanc, that's him. He's excellent, isn't he? He's got a great character on there, and he brings a bit of fun to it. I like it. So yeah, good. We're lucky, aren't we, that we've got those two good car programmes now to watch. Will you be at Peterborough Motorcycle Festival in May? Unfortunately, no, I won't be at that one. I think that clashes with my Western Isles tour, so sorry about that, Matt Biker. But thanks for the question. What else have we got coming up here? Autonomous. Yeah, that was the word. Autonomous vehicles. Once they come on the road, perhaps insurance companies will have a bit of a problem because there'll be less accidents. We'll all be going to the pub and just using an app to call our car to come and pick us up. That'll be brilliant. I think that's going to be the next. That's going to be the next big game changer, I think, in the way that our society works. If the last big game changer was the internet coming along at sort of back end of the 80s up until now, and it's enabled us to do things like this, who would have thought we could do this 20 years ago? And I think the next big enabler that's going to really change the way that we live is autonomous vehicles. Hope I live to see it. I think it's probably 20 years away. Yeah, that's going to be amazing. But that's a whole other subject, isn't it? All right, well, I'll come back to the live chat again in a minute. Let me know if you want me to stop. It's 8:45, so I've been on here for 45 minutes. Let me just have a look. Yeah, 46 minutes it says here. Unbelievably, I've got 500 people watching this. Incredible. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I can't visualise 500 of you sitting out there, and if I did, it would freak me out, so I'll try not to think about it. Okay, so back to these questions. Next one, Beans. This was from you, Beans. I don't know if you even remember posing this. Why don't BMW and other manufacturers fit adequate sole plates to their side stands to stop our bikes falling over on soft ground? Great question. Then we wouldn't have to buy expensive items from Touratech and others to prevent this from happening. Please, can you sort this out for us, TMF? Well, I wish I had that power, Beans, to sort out anything. Yeah, why don't bike manufacturers do that? If you're good at adventure bikes, are super popular these days, aren't they? The best-selling bikes in Britain, in fact, and in fact probably the world, I think. Yet they all have those little tiddly little side stand feet, don't they? The GS is a classic case in point. It's a big old heavy bike, and the tip of the side stand, I kid you not, is about that big, size of the end of my thumb. It's gonna, if you're not on concrete, it's just gonna sink in the ground. So everybody ends up buying those big old camel feet type things to stop them sinking in the ground. But every bike has this issue. Occasionally you're going to want to put the bike on some soft ground and stand it up. Why don't manufacturers just put a bigger foot on the end of the side stand? I know the answer, cost and weight probably, but it would be a real plus point, wouldn't it? Stick a nose on, just easy to do. So yeah, good question, Beans. I share your hate at that one. It's just another extra that we have to buy along with a tail tidy and aftermarket cans and all the rest of it. Okay, just a quick check here, see what we've got going. Please keep going, thank you very much. Rob's given me the thumbs up, thank you. Triple Fun, bugger all on the telly, great. Are you a Chelsea fan, from Ross? What makes you say that, out of interest? Sadly, I know absolutely nothing about football, and so no, I'm not a fan of anyone. I'm sorry to let you down there. I'm a bit of a metrosexual when it comes to things like that. I wish I did know more about football. So no, I'm not a Chelsea fan. Should I be? You tell me. You have the power, says Ian. I don't think so. What else have we got? Alternate the cars, but leave the bikes alone. Yes, fair point. Got a principal quote. Jim says, excellent. I hope you got entered into the competition as well. More about that towards the end. Right, quick other question then. In fact, there's a number of questions that Uhura Mikali, hope I'm saying your name vaguely right there, Uhura. I love the name, just because of the Star Trek connections. I couldn't not answer your question with that name. I hope you didn't make that up and that is actually your genuine name. And I hope now by saying that, I haven't hugely offended you. Anyway, your questions were, which tour did you prefer, Canaries or Spain, and why? That's a toughie, because they're both quite different. The Canary Islands was amazing for scenery and hairpins and learning your craft. and amazing weather all year round because you're that bit further south. Spain was great because I was on a GS, and again the terrain was slightly different. So I'm going to be diplomatic there and say that I love them both, so much to the degree that I'm hopefully going back and revisiting those guys again later in the year, as I said earlier. So yeah, both brilliant. I guess if you think about doing one or the other, it sort of depends on the sort of riding you like doing and the sort of time of year you're going to go. If you're a GS rider, then do the Spain one, go and do the GS thing. If GSs aren't your thing and you don't really care, then go and do the Canaries one because you've got, you know, much more guaranteed weather down there. But of course in the summer Spain's going to be nice, so take your pick really, you can't go wrong with either. Next question you asked, have you made your mind up about generating income from vlogs? I don't think, oh yeah, so that was that question. Yeah, good question. That was another thing, that's a little vlog I did ages ago, wasn't it, called something like getting paid for vlogging or something, and it created an absolute load of responses from people. And I was talking about Patreon and things like that, and yeah, I think I've sort of made my mind up. As you noticed, I haven't gone the Patreon route. I don't like asking for money, but I know lots of people do Patreon and it works really well for them. So at some stage I probably will do that. I don't know, I've no imminent plans, but maybe I will do that in the future. But if I do it, it'll be in a very, very low-key way. I won't be mentioning it every 5 minutes. It will just be, you know, something there that you can find on the channel if you so desire. My preferred route is doing things like this where you can do the little donations on the live chat. That's fantastic. You know, again, I'm not going to ask for them, but it's great that that's a facility there that YouTube makes available if you want to. But by far my favourite, and I think what came out from the comments from that video, was people like sponsorships, because of course they don't affect you, the viewer. I will certainly never make any of my content paid. It'll always be for free, but you may see more sponsorship going on. I'll talk a bit more about that towards the end of our time, which we're getting there. How's my stream health doing? It's looking all right. So yeah, sponsorship is the way I'm looking to go. What else have we got here? Gosh, you asked loads of questions actually, Uhura, including things like the am I going to ride the Benelli? You called it the Leon C. I think it's called the Leoncino, isn't it, or Cappuccino or something. Actually, I think I may have missed my chance on this. I do want to ride it, and I'm going to try it too. And in fact, the dealer that I work with that has the Benellis did call me and say, "Do you want to ride it?" Unfortunately, it just happened at a time when I had so much going on. In fact, I think I was just off on my skiing holiday, and I just couldn't fit it in. And I think the bike may not be available now, but it's on my list of things to do. Is to give them a ring and see if I can do that. So stay tuned. You might be seeing that Benelli soon. Okay, I've got a couple more questions there, but I'll just knock the mic, sorry about that. I'll save them for later. Let's just see how the live stream's doing. What we got here? What happened to the electric bike that fell over from Michael? You may have missed that at the start of the live stream. Basically, it's being fixed. I'm going to get the bike back, so thank you to Zero for that. So that's all happening. 125 reviews from Will Tarbox. Yeah, more 125 reviews coming. Got a couple of 125 scooters actually reviews in the can that are coming soon. I've got the Sinus, as I mentioned. I did the Yamaha. I'm looking forward to doing the Honda. So yeah, 125 is definitely there. Can you make a sandwich from Flatcap 007? What, you want me to do a live stream of that? Great. What, any particular type of sandwich? Happy to do it if it make you happy. Oh, thank you. Got some money from Hartley. Sorry, I've got kind of my glasses on there. Hartley 383. Thank you very much, sir. I shall have a beer on you. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Actually, it'll probably go in the petrol tank, but that's very kind. Any favourite motorcycle YouTube channels? I have a few, including yours. Thank you, Splodge57. Great question. Mentioned this before. I'm always mentioning the same people. I have a few favourite YouTube channels. In fact, I haven't got the right screen up. I can't look at my subscriptions. So I watch all the usual ones that everybody else watches: the RJs, the 44 Teeths, all that sort of stuff. And parts of them I like, parts of them I don't like. But yeah, of course I watch those. I don't tend to watch many US ones. I do watch Chase on Two Wheels sometimes, although that's infrequent. The only US one I watch regularly is, oh, what the heck's it called? Everride. He just does off-road stuff in Utah, in the Badlands. Amazing channel. His cinematography is second to none. Absolutely incredible. He's got all the drones and all that stuff, really high quality cameras. Really enjoy watching that, just for the scenery as much as everything. And Tyler, the guy that does that, seems like a really nice guy. And the only other American one I watch regularly is Shade Tree Surgeon. I don't know if you watch him. Again, just a really nice guy. If you looked at him and you captured the wrong video of his at the wrong moment, you may wonder what the heck I'm talking about. But if you watch him long term, lovely fella, based in Florida, runs a bar there. Really enjoy watching that. He's got a completely different sort of life to the one I have, but it's a life that I quite like the look of, particularly his weather. So that's another one I'll watch regularly. You'll know if you're a regular viewer of mine that I'm a huge fan of Del Boy's Garage. I watch Del Boy a lot. In fact, I watch everything he does. I watch, of course, Lamb Chops Rides. I watch Richie Vida. I watch Teapot One. All these that I've mentioned before, and I'm sure I've missed a few out, as a few others as well. A Brit, a Blonde, a Bike in New Zealand. Love that. Watch all their stuff. Again, touring around beautiful countryside in New Zealand. There are a few new ones I've started watching as well. I have got a little series that I haven't done anything on for a while called Did You See, where I highlight some of my favourite films that I've seen other vloggers do. I was thinking about not regurgitating, reanimating that series and doing a few more of those, because there are a couple of new ones that have cropped up. I can't remember the names off the top of my head that I really want to recommend to you, so I may do one of those again in the future. To be honest, I've got so much content that I want to get out, just haven't got enough time to do it. But yeah, so those are my favourites, I think. Alright, I'll come back to the live chat again in a minute. It's 8:55. I'm going to have to go in 5 minutes, folks, otherwise you're going to get really bored of me. Just a couple more questions from last time. Rutger Smets, hi Rutger, I saw you're on here as well, so I hope you're still watching. You said, what kind of mods are must-haves on any bike? Well, I mentioned this slightly just now. Things like tail tidies always seem to be necessary in this country. Often end cans, new exhaust. The Euro 4 ones often look like big buckets strapped on a bike, or they don't sound very good, so usually an exhaust. Maybe if you've got an adventure bike, one of those big feet for the side stand. So yeah, that sort of thing. If you're in this country, then a smaller number plate, although it's actually illegal, I know, but not stupidly small, but a bit smaller, often looks good. So yeah, stuff like that. There are loads of mods you can do, of course, depending on your want. Suspension, tune-up, getting the suspension set up properly. Oh, thank you very much. Another donation from Billy Echoes. Thank you very much, Billy. Most kind of you. Thank you for that. So yeah, so they're the ones, Rutger, those sorts of things. Hope that answers your question. Another one from another great name. This is from Alan R1200 GSLC Neil. That can't be your real middle name, Alan. He said, any update on the advanced rider training? I think I've answered that one. I did the bike safe thing video coming up on that soon, and lots more about advanced riding in that video. Okay, so that was it for the questions that I picked up from last time. Again, if you're watching this video not live, but maybe you're in another country where the time zone doesn't work, apologies you can't see this live. I am thinking about changing the timing of these. Maybe I'll do one that's sort of early in the morning one morning, so that the guys in Australia, New Zealand, and the west coast of the US can watch these live. Maybe I'll do that the one after next, perhaps. The details below, you'll see this little ticker tape thing going. It's got details in there of when my next live stream is. And I do tweet and I do Facebook the day before usually when I'm going to do my next live stream, in case you haven't made a note, even though I put it in the little ticker tape thing. So hopefully I can capture some of those guys on the other side of the planet as well. So I'm thinking about doing that. Oh, another one in. Thank you very much. Who's this? X Precious Gaming, thank you very much. Oh, lovely content, thank you. That's very kind of you. I'm overwhelmed by the fact that people do that. It's really good. Brilliant. Okay, so a few closing points I want to make because we're nearly at the top of the hour. I'll come back to the live chat again once I've done these. Oh, excuse me, I need to cough. So I'm just getting over another bout of man flu. I've had 8 colds this season. How unbelievable is that? Okay, a couple of closing points, or a few other things that I just wanted to sort of parish notices bring your attention to. Mentioned earlier the brilliant free prize draw that we've got running to win a holiday for 2 on Gran Canaria. At the end of the video, I'll put up the slide with the numbers. Again, in the ticker tape below here, you'll have the phone numbers that you have to ring if you want to enter that free prize draw. You can win a holiday for 2, Gran Canaria, for a week, touring around. Absolutely brilliant prize. You just have to get yourself your next motorcycle quote from Principal Insurance, as I say, on the numbers that are either in the ticker tape below or on the screen you see at the end. Give them a call. The closing date for that is the 31st of March, so you've got 2 weeks to enter that competition. It's not a competition, it's a free prize draw. I have to be very careful about that. As I say, 31st of March, which is a Saturday, is the closing date. The winner, I think, is announced on the 14th of April. My next live stream, I think, is the 18th of April, so I'll let you know on the next live stream who's won that fantastic holiday, and then you'll hear no more about it. So yeah, so you've still got time to do that. Do get yourself in there, and you don't have to get your insurance from Principal. Just get yourself a quote, mention the Missenden flyer, you'll be automatically entered into that free prize draw for that amazing holiday. The other thing I did want to mention was just thanks to everybody. I talked about it earlier, but thanks to everybody that came and saw me at the London Motorcycle Show. Again, overwhelming. I mean, in your day-to-day life, you just go about your business, don't you? And nobody, pays any attention to you, and that's absolutely fine. That's how it should be. But if you're, on YouTube and you've got a bit of a following, and mine, I'm glad to say, is building all the time. When you go to a motorcycle event, you get recognised, and it's just absolutely brilliant. I can see, well, it's just amazing. It's amazing. So thank you for coming to say hello, and look forward to seeing you again at another bike. Some people actually came and saw me for the second time. They saw me at the NEC as well. So brilliant that, and hopefully there's going to be more of that stuff coming. Well, the other thing I want to mention, just here on the side, here, you can see there's a new logo that's been added onto the screen. Just wanted to welcome my new sponsor, which is Custom Fit Guards. They're the guys that make the little earplugs that you would have seen me wear on my tour videos. These little things here. I've got the orange ones because if I drop them and they go onto grey tarmac, they're easy to spot. I've lost earplugs before, so knock the mic there. So yeah, thank you to them. They're going to be just sponsoring these live streams only, and my monthly bike news. You know, when I do the review of MCN, they're going to be sponsoring those. So thank you very much, guys. Well, Richard, really, for coming on board with that and sponsoring me. Again, help out my channel by going to them and buying your earplugs. They're fantastic, very comfortable. I've used them for a couple of years now. I wouldn't have them sponsor me if I didn't think the product was good. And also you can use Fly 10 as a discount if you're going to buy some custom fit guards from them. They get all the shows, you can go and get them fitted with them. Anyway, so thanks to them, a new sponsor on board, so that's great. And as I said earlier, I'm always looking for new sponsors. You know, if you are a business and you want to talk to me, get in touch via that little that side email address there somewhere, and we can have a chat. All right, so that was that. Oh, and another thing, while we're talking about you know, the commercial side of this, is a tricky old business, isn't it? But check out my new grey hoodie, eh? Look at that, great. So this is a new one that I've added to my Teespring shop in the last week, and I have to say, since I've had this, my word, my bikes have been running sweet as a nut. It's guaranteed to improve the performance on your bike, and just between you and me, the women love it, I tell you. So get yourself a grey hoodie, go to my Teespring store. If you've not been there already, go to my main YouTube channel, and there's a little red spring top right hand, you know, on the banner thing. Click on that, go to the store, get yourself one of these hoodies. They take a little while to come because they are very exclusive. It might take a week or two before you get it, but then bargain prices, and as I say, they'll certainly improve your private life. Take it from me. Okay, I'll say no more. Alrighty, okay, that was that. Next live stream, make a note in your diaries. As I said, 8 PM UK time. That's very important that I say 8 PM UK time on Wednesday the 18th of April, because of course we're changing the clock. So if you're a policeman or a pilot, that's GMT +1, or if you're not in this country, so 2000 local, or Zulu +1. I'm just making it sound complicated, aren't I? Get here at 8 o'clock again, and we'll have the next live stream. That's Wednesday the 18th. I try and alternate these with the bike news things, because these are the little fixed points in my channel schedule where I get to talk to you sort of one-on-one like this. Okay, let's have a little look at the live stream then before we wrap up, because we are at the top of the hour and I've been running for an hour and a minute now, and I've still got 494 people watching. Incredible. Only 6 people have dropped off. Excellent. Okay, what have we got here then? All the best from Aylesbury. Enjoying TMF, thank you. Best earplugs available. Yeah, I agree. Do the ladies like... Oh, and it shot off. Sorry about that. Didn't see that. Somebody flat cap uses foam. I do use those foam ones occasionally, but I find on a long ride they start to get uncomfortable. So yeah, the foam's good sometimes, but those custom fit ones, actually, if you're doing touring, they're the most comfortable I've come across. He used to be a construction manager. Managed J40 says, I'm not sure who you're referring to there. Not me, unless they always wear hoodies. Is that what you're referring to? Perhaps it is. Hello from West Sussex. Me and my dad are fans. Thanks for all your videos. Well, thank you for watching. Excellent. Glad you can watch them with your dad. That's great. Great hour, thanks. Oh, thank you, James, for watching the full time. Cross Tourer DCT test. It's on the list. Just got to get around to doing it. Needs a zip. Oh, okay, well, I need to find one with a zip then, okay. Top stuff, thank you. Good day. What else? Would you have a classic bike? Yes, we talked about that before. Your tea mugs look good, thank you. Yes, they are good. And well worth every penny. Go and get yourself one. Do you use a GPS or smartphone to find your way? Well, I just sort of follow my nose. No, I guess you mean on a tour. I don't really use either, to be honest. I'm old school. I tend to use maps. I don't get on well with my GPS on my bike, the Nav 5. It's brilliant as like a information system on the BMW for, you know, with your tyres are going flat, but actually following routes on it, pain in the backside, so I don't go there. But that's another story. What else we got? What cars do you own? Oh, I'm not going there. I might have mentioned them in the past actually, but maybe another time. What else we got? Oh, good day from Oz, Martin S. Whatever time is it there, Martin? Just let me know that before we go. I'll be intrigued. That is amazing. People watching in Australia. Here I am in my little study in a very cold South Buckinghamshire, and there are people watching in Australia and Philadelphia as well. Unbelievable. Brilliant, thank you. Alright, I think that's probably about it for now. I will say, I'll go through all those, all the live chat again when I watch the recorded one, so don't worry, I won't miss your comments. Now, if you've got any, as I say, any further questions, if you're watching the recorded version, stick them in the comments below. I'll try and pick them up for next next time, so you won't miss out on this sort of live interaction. Okay, just before I go then, a few more things coming up between now and next time, just to let you know what's coming up. I've got the review of the heated seat, actually using it, what's it like, how's it been going, that's coming up soon. I've got a review of the R9T, the standard bike. I've ridden all, lots of the others. I've ridden the Racer, the Scrambler, I've ridden the Urban GS, etc. But I hadn't ridden the standard R9T. Got that one coming up. Beautiful bike, that's coming up. Met Police Bike Safe, mentioned that. The Kawasaki I mentioned. Oh, this beauty here, Shoei NXR helmet that I got this month. I've got this one set up now. This is my go-to helmet for vlogging, hence the camera. Got a review of that coming up. That's the helmet that I replaced my Shoei Quest with, which was 7 years old, so long in the tooth. So got a review of that coming up as well. That's working out well. I mentioned the Lexmoto Valletta scooter. Got some stuff coming up on that. I've got a vlog, little ride out I did to a place called H's Cafe down in is it Berkshire? Don't know, could be. But a little vloggy type thing down there, that's coming up. Honda CB 650F, something again that was hugely asked for, so that's coming up. More BMW Farkling. Got some stuff from a company called Hornig in Germany that I've put on the BMW. I'll be showing you those. Or another thing that's been hugely requested and is long overdue. I'll do a review also of the jeans that you see me wearing, the Dragon jeans. Brilliant. I was wearing those when I came off the DSR, completely unscathed. Brilliant set of jeans. I'm at long last doing a review after having been wearing those for about a year, so that's coming up as well. Lots more besides. Okay, so that's it. I've been talking for an hour and 4 minutes. I could easily go on longer, but I'm sure you've got homes to go to, as they say when you're in the pub. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for all your support on the channel. Blown away by the support on these things. Incredible that I've still got 480 people watching this. We'll do the same again next month. Do keep your comments going. Love to hear from you. If you see me out and about, give us a wave. Come and see me if you see me in a bike shop or something. Somebody did that yesterday. Brilliant. Love to meet you. So yeah, thanks for all that stuff. Great stuff. Alright, I'm going to stick up the details for that prize draw. Make a note of the numbers at the end. But let me just make sure the technology gets working. How are we doing? Yep, it says the stream health is good. So that's all great. Yeah, alright, so that's it for this time. Really enjoyed talking to you. Look forward to speaking to you next time. Till then, this has been Missenden Fly. Cheerio.